Hi, United. So I just want to go through the questions for lesson 3. Okay, so the first one we've got is question 2 here. So we have to simplify the following. So we've got 3 times 6r. Okay, so now we can rewrite that as 3 times 6 times r. Okay, remember there's always a hidden multiplication sign between the number and the letter. Okay, and so the next bit we're going to do is we are going to multiply the numbers together. So 3 times 6, well, that's going to give us 18 times r, and that means that we can just rewrite this without the multiplication sign here as 18r. Okay, now later on when you are used to this, then what you can do is just go straight from 3 times 6, that's 18, and then we just have the letter r left. So next we've got -2 times x times 7 times y. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to group the -2 and the 7 together and the x and the y together. Okay, so groups these and group these. So what we're going to have, the numbers first. Okay, so -2 times 7, well, negative times a positive is a negative. And 2 times 7, well, that's 14. So we have -14. And then we are going to do the letters. Well, I'm just going to leave them like this for now. And then finally, we are just going to hide. Okay, we're only hiding, we're not getting rid of. We're hiding the multiplication sign. And that's going to give us -14xy. Next, we've got e. So we have -4c, or 4 times c. 4 times c times 3 times d. So this is very, very similar to c. Okay. Again, we are going to group the numbers together and the letters together. -4 times 3, negative times a positive is a negative. 4 times 3 is 12, so we get -12. And let's just rewrite times c times d. And then we're going to hide the multiplication sign, so we get -12cd. Then we got g, we've got -4 times r times 3 times 2 times s. Group the numbers together, -4 times 3 times 2, and group the letters together, times r times s. Okay. Okay, so let's do this step by step. So let's first do -4 times 3. Okay, so negative and a positive is a negative. 4 times 3 is 12, so -12 times 2 times r times s. Then we have -12 times 2. Negative times a positive is a negative. 12 times 2 is 24, so -24 times r times s. And then just hide the multiplication sign and we get -24 rs. Okay. Again, later on when you're quite used to this, you just go -4 times 3, that's -12. -12 times 2, that's -24. And then we've got r, we've got s. So skip straight from this step down to this step here. Okay. Moving on to question 3. So we have to do A, C, and E. So A, we've got 7 times A times 3 times A times B. Grouping the numbers together and the letters together. Okay, so numbers together, 7 times 3, well, that's 21. Now, I also see that, hey, we've got a times a. Well, a times a is a square, and then b by itself. So our answer is going to be 21 a square b. Next, we got negative 3 times g times h times negative 6, okay, times h. Okay, so the negative sign here goes along with the 6. So group them together, so negative 3 times negative 6. Now you may be asking, why is it that one negative number has a pair of brackets and the other one doesn't? You can absolutely put a pair of brackets around the negative numbers here. It's just a convention that if the negative number is at the front, you don't have to put the brackets there, but if it's in somewhere in the middle of the expressions, then you put it, then you would have the brackets. Again, like I said, you can totally have a pair of brackets around both. Okay. And so negative times a negative. Okay, negative times a negative, well, that's a positive. And 3 times 6 is 18. Okay. And then now the g is by itself, but here we've got h times h, so that's going to be h squared. And then that would give us 18g. Now I do apologize about this dot here, or maybe I should write it somewhere else. There we go. Okay. Right, and finally we got e. We've got negative 4 times a times b times negative 2 times a times b. Okay. And again, I can put in the brackets around a negative 4 there. So let's group the negative 4 and the negative 2 together, and the a's together, and the b's together. Okay, so here we got negative times a negative, which is a positive. We don't have to write plus sign. 4 times 2, that's 8. Okay, and a times a, well, that's a square, times b, that's b square. And so our answer is going to be 8a square b square. Moving on to question 4 here. All right. So for this one, we are simplifying. Okay, simplifying by cancelling. So what we're going to do is we are going to rewrite these. So again, this is a times b over 2. Now think about this. What number can go into 8 and 2? Well, 2 can go into both 8 and 2. Okay, so now 8 is 2 times 4 times b, and 2 is 2 times 1. Oh, there's nothing else there. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to cancel as the questions ask us to do. And by cancelling, I'm just going to cross the 2 at the top and the 2 at the bottom. Okay, so whatever you got at the top and at the bottom, you can cancel them. Okay, so this is kind of like with fractions, you got simplifying fractions, right? So you're dividing by the common factor. Okay, so and then we're just going to have a look at what we have left. So with A, well, we've got 4 and B at the top and 1 at the bottom. And well, we don't have to write it the 1 at the bottom, so we can rewrite it as 4B. Okay. Now, once you are more used to this, you can say, okay, 2 can go into 8 and 2. Okay. 2 can go into 8 4 times, and 2 can go into 2 1 time. Okay, and then we've got the B, and then we're just going to rewrite this as this. Okay, so basically skipping right from there to there. Okay, for now, if you feel like like you need practice, then I would really recommend that you write it out like this. Okay. Okay, for C, now I don't have much space here, so I'm going to write on this side, okay? This is for C. Okay, so we have 4 times A times B over 6. Now, what number can go into both 4 and 6? That's 2. So 4 is 2 times 2 times A times B over 6 would be 2 times 3. So we're going to cancel what's common between the top and the bottom, and that's this 2 here. So what do we have left? We have 2 times A times B over 3. And let's just rewrite this to make it look nicer. It's 2AB over 3. Okay? Again, once you're used to this one, you can say, okay, 2 can go to 4 and 6. So 2 can go to 4 twice, and 2 can go to 6 3 times. And then you can see that, hey, we've got the answer, 2AB over 3. Okay, so this is for when you are more used to, working, simplifying expressions. Okay. Now, with the next one, now we've got a negative. Okay. Don't worry about a negative sign, I would say. Okay, it's there, just leave it there. So this is 5 times x times y. And now 5 can go into 20, right? Oh, and I should have written this as 5 times 1 times x times y. Okay. That's all right. I'll write that later. And 5 can go into 20, and 20 is 5 times 4 times y. So now I'm going to cancel, right? Cancel the 5 and the 5 here. Also, I see that I have a y at the top and a y at the bottom. I'm going to cancel them as well. So what do I have left? At the top, I have x. At the bottom, I have 4. And that's going to be my answer. Okay. Next, G. So this is, so u square. Well, u square is u times v. Okay. U square is u times u. And then we got times v over u. Okay, so what do we have here? We've got u at the top and u at the bottom. And so what do we have left? Well, just u times v. Or we can write that as uv. And the final one here with I, we've got 5 times a times b times b, because we have a b square, over 9 times b. Well, 5 and 9, well, there's no number that can go into both of them. So we're just going to leave them like that. And so we have b at the top and a b at the bottom. Cross them out. So what we have left is 5ab over 9. Okay, so that's how you would do question 4. And finally, we got question 5 here. So with question 5, what you need to do first is the question says there, first writing in fraction form. So we got 2x divided by 5. Well, that is the same as 2x over 5. Okay, so remember, division can be written as fraction. Now, is there any number that go into 2 and 5? No, there's no number that can go into both 2 and 5. Okay, so that's going to be our answer, just that. Okay, and then we got C. We got 11m and divided by 3, so over 3. And again, there's no number that can go into both 3 and 11, so that's it. We're done. Next, we got E, negative 10 divided by 2 times G times H. Now, 2 can go into 10, right? And 2 can go into 2 as well. So again, I am going to ignore the negative sign here for a little bit. So I'm going to write it at the front here. Okay, I'm just going to leave it there by itself for now. 10 is 2 times 5, right? And we have 2 times G times H. So what do we have common at the top and at the bottom? What are 2? So cross out a 2. So what do we have left? Well, at the top, I have a negative and a 5. So that's going to be negative 5. Okay, do not forget the negative sign. Okay, we leave it alone before, but it's not gone. It's still there. So remember that we have a negative sign there. So negative 5. And at the bottom, we've got GH. Okay. Next one is G. So we have negative 3xy divided by yx. Now that's interesting. So this is negative 3 times x times y over y times x. Now I see that I've got an x at the top and an x at the bottom, so cross them out. Y at the top, y at the bottom, cross them out. So it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter whether you have x and then y or y and then x, as long as you can see that, hey, there's both an x at the top and at the bottom, and there's two y's, one at the top, one at the bottom. You can cancel them. So what we would have is, well, the only thing we have left is negative 3. There we go. All right. I. So we have negative 27 P Q. Oh, Q, not G. Negative 27 PQ divided by 6P. Okay. Again, let's ignore the negative sign for now. And let's think about what number can go into both 27 and 6. That number would be 3. So 27 is 3 times 9. And then we have P times Q over 6 would be 3 times 2. And then we've got times P. So here we got 3 at the top, 3 at the bottom. We can cancel this. Cancel, cancel. Then P as well. Cancel, cancel. So what do we have left? Well, at the top, we still have the negative. Negative. So it's going to be negative 9. And then Q over at the bottom, we just have 2. And then finally, we got K. Okay. So I may need a bit more space with K. So we have 25 times x because it's an x square times y over negative 5 times x times y. Oh, sorry. Okay, now the negative sign, bring it to the front. And then think about what number can go into 25 and 5. Well, the number is going to be 5 itself. So 25 is 5 times 5 times x times times y, and over, and then over 5 here. Well, that's just 5 times x times y. So what do we have? We got 5 at the top, 5 at the bottom. Cancel, cancel. X at the top, x at the bottom. Cancel, cancel. So what do we have left? We have a negative. And then at the top, we've got 5x. Oh, aha, I forgot. We also have a y at the top and a y at the bottom. So cancel, cancel. So that means that we have what do we have? At the top, we have 5x, so negative 5x, and then at the bottom we've got nothing. So that's just it, negative 5x. Okay, so hopefully this helps you guys with answering the questions for this exercise here, exercise 2b. Okay, thank you guys for watching the video. If you need help with anything, remember that you can always email me or come to the WebEx and ask me questions. Okay?